stepped away from the table for about 30 seconds, and the ravens stole one of our creamers. They're in the process of drinking it.
Good morning, day 2, Death Valley National Park. We had a pretty good night last night. It didn't rain the whole night, which was nice. Our neighbor campers, they weren't all so loud, so it was actually pretty good. Wasn't too cold, plenty of warmth. And so today we're just gonna go ahead and go explore the park some more. It is Kelly's birthday today, so wish her a happy birthday in the comment section. And so here we go.
We are about to head up from our campsite up to the Ubehebe Crater. It's about an hour drive from Stovepipe Wells Campground. It's about a 1.5 mile loop that you're able to do. In what I was reading, it looks like it's a Mar volcano. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I guess we will find out when we get there. One thing we are noticing on this drive is that there's a lot of washout on the road. So it didn't seem like we had gotten a lot of rain yesterday, but they may have gotten a little bit more on Wednesday before we had gotten here. But the roads definitely are covered in a lot of dirt and rocks and debris and things like that. We have reached the crater. I was incorrect before when I was calling it the Ubehebe Crater. It is actually Ubehebe Crater. I was eliminating the first B of the word, so Ubehebe Crater. And we're off to go hike. I think it's about 1.5 miles. So let's go.
So I'm testing out a new pack that I just got. It's the GoRuck GR2. It's a 40-liter pack. It's a little bit heavier than a normal hiking pack. I think empty weight's like, I don't know, 4.5, 5 pounds. But they're supposed to be indestructible, and so far I've really liked it. So this will be the first hike that I've gone on. Feels pretty comfortable, and it's supposed to get more comfortable the more you use it. So hopefully after this trip, it'll be nice and broken in, and I'll be able to give you a better opinion about how I like it. But so far, so good.
So the hike, it says to do counterclockwise, and that's so you can eliminate some of the elevation gain that you have. It certainly is a long way back to the car at this point. I don't recall off the top of my head how much elevation gain it says. I know it's about 500 to 600 feet down to the crater, and we're kind of climbing to the peak of the sides of the crater. So somewhere in, I would say, 400 to 600 range. We're climbing here in about 1/4 mile.
So we're hitting probably the roughest patch right here. It's pretty steep up until the top, so we will see what we get, what views we have when we get up to the top here. Hopefully it'll be something good.
We're at the top of the ridge now. To my right is the Ubehebe Crater, and then to my left is Little Hebe. So different points in time that they have erupted and formed here, but you've got the larger crater and then the shallower crater. It did say that the shallower the crater it is, the older that it is, because over time it just kind of starts to fill in and then the sides and everything erode away. So the craters are formed when magma underneath the Earth's surface comes into contact with groundwater, and it ends up heating up the water, and you get an explosive steam that shoots out, sometimes as high or as fast, sorry, as 100 miles per hour. You have debris and things shooting out from these craters. So behind me and to the left is the little Hebe Crater. It is about a half mile from the parking lot, so about a 1 mile round trip if you were looking to just come to the little Hebe Crater and then just viewing the large Ubehebe Crater from the parking lot. That is an option. We are going to continue now and walk the rim trail, which takes you around the rim of the larger crater. The downhill descent has begun. Actually remembered what these volcanoes are called, or these craters are called. They're called Mar craters. So we have seen 3 of them so far. The largest one, the little Hebe, and then actually I guess 2 kind of flattened areas. Don't know if they're defined actually as part of the craters or just maybe some of the end result from when the other 2 had erupted.
Well, we made it to the halfway point to the Ubehebe Crater. That's probably the highest point that you're going to be on there. You can look down in the crater. It was pretty far down. There was a couple people down there. And then you can see our cars way in the distance. So we're about half done. So about another mile or so. We're just hitting the backside right now. Not much to see. And so hopefully when we come around the, I guess the other side before the cars, we'll be able to get a better look at it and another view.
So there are 3 ways to visit the Ubehebe Crater. The first is to overlook it from the parking lot or from the little Hebe trail. The second is to do the rim trail that goes around the rim of the crater. And the third is to actually go into the crater. You hike about 600 feet down, and then you gotta hike about 600 feet back out. So we have done 1 and 2. We are now going to attempt the 3rd way. So let's see how it goes. All right, let's go.
So going down the trail into the crater is not that difficult. The sand is pretty loose, but it's not too bad. It's definitely going to be more challenging walking on up, because if you think when you're at the beach and you're walking, it's difficult walking through sand. Now you throw an incline on and you throw it, you know, I don't know, half mile or so with about 500 feet of elevation gain. That's going to be pretty challenging. So we'll probably regret our decision as we're walking up, but hopefully when it's all said and done, it'll be worth it. We have made it down to the bottom of the Ubehebe Crater. Probably a quarter mile, I think. Definitely a challenging down. It's going to be even worse coming up, but the view's pretty cool up here. So this clay dirt, I guess the floor of the crater, since we got the rain the other night, or last night and then a couple of days ago, it's definitely like really kind of muddy, so we can't really walk out on it at all. But it's definitely kind of cool down here. It's a little bit like, as far as heat wise or temperature goes, it's a little bit warmer than up on the top or the rim of the crater, just because there's no wind or any type of breeze, something like that. But it's pretty cool down here. If you look up on the rim, you can see like where we were up. I mean, it's a pretty far ways to go. So that took about 18 minutes to walk down, and we're just starting up right now, and we will see how long it takes to get up. I'm guessing it'll probably take minimum probably twice as long to get up, just because for one, it's going to be more strenuous, and then two, it's like for every step you take or every 2 steps you take, you almost go back one. So but here we go, we're heading on up. Like we thought, going up is definitely more difficult. However, there's sections along it that are more compact, so it's not all just the scree, and so you can make a little bit better time for that. So I got a little bit here, so we're gonna walk that as far as we can till we get stuck back onto the scree.
Hike back out. It's definitely challenging. You're gonna wanna go slow and make sure that you have some fuel in you. So we had a little bit of a snack, but legs are definitely tired. I think by the time that we get back to the rim of the crater, we'll definitely be a little gassed.
There was 2 different trails down to the bottom of the crater. There's a steep one that's a little bit shorter, and then well, I guess a longer one that's not as steep. So we ended up choosing the longer, not as steep one, and I think that was a definite good choice, because looking at the really steep one, that would have been very, very, very challenging.
We made it. Now for about another quarter mile to the car.
I forgot to mention how long it took to get up. So I was wrong. It did not take us 20 or 2 times or double the amount. It took us about 18 or so minutes. So it was pretty similar to the going down, which is pretty shocking. Just finished up. We ended up doing about 3.15 miles total for the whole rim, and then down to the end of the crater. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I think it's 2 miles around the rim, and then, you know, a quarter mile down and a quarter mile back up. So we did a little bit of extra from all the filming. We had to go run and get the camera back and place it and all that stuff. And it took us just over 2 hours to finish it. So not too bad.
It's a little after 11, and so we decided just to have an early lunch here at the crater. The rest of the day is kind of unplanned. I think we're just going to drive around and maybe take, you know, a dirt road if we see one, or just explore a little bit. Tomorrow we'll head down to the Furnace Creek area, so we'll probably avoid that for today. But in terms of the northern part of the park and the central part of the park, it's anyone's guess what we're going to do next. Selected our afternoon plan of action. We are currently driving up through Mud Canyon. It looks like it intersects with what's called Hell's Gate. If you continue straight, it goes into Betty, Nevada, or you can kind of make a triangle pattern and head back down through Betty Cutoff. It also takes you to the Keane Wonder Mine. It might be a gravel road to get to there, but depending on how the road conditions are, we might try to venture out and take a look at an old mine. We just got to our turnoff, Hell's Gate. There wasn't really much there unless somehow we missed it. It looked like it was just a place, they had a picnic table, a pay station, and a restroom. So not much to see, but we are on our way to the mine now. At the Keane Wonder Mine. It is an old ore mine. There's a trail here behind my shoulder to the right that we're going to hike up to. It looks like some of the old dollies or things that they use to ferry the ore down the mountain here. Not quite sure how long the hike is. We don't really have much information, but it's an adventure, so let's see where it takes us.
Mile to go.
Another steep climb.
When we got here, we ran into another couple that had just finished up and was coming down, and they said you just follow the trail up. They said mile and a half, you'll get to find more structures, some, you know, more mine openings, and just more things to explore than down at the I guess just the base level where we just were at. So we're walking up to see what we can find. Not sure how far we'll go though, but hopefully we'll find something up here.
This is how you capitalize on a breeze. It's probably only about 70 degrees out, but when the sun's beating down on you, it feels a little bit warmer. So anytime you get a breeze, soak it in because it feels glorious. So we stopped for a second just to kind of talk about the engineering that goes into some of this, that someone had to be out there putting together those structures and then running the lines. And as we were kind of just following our line of sight along the lines, you can actually see that there are two carts or units that are still hanging from the lines. So only can assume that that was used to haul the ore down the mountain to the processing area that you see down towards the bottom of the mountain. But kind of just fascinating that the structures or the wires are still strong enough to hold those, and they haven't rusted over time.
I think this is the farthest that we're going to make it up. We're just under a mile up here. It looks like it keeps going, and just we don't see anything really that looks interesting to see. But I'm sure if you continue up there, it'll be there. But I think for now, I think we're just going to turn around. But in the meantime, we got a pretty spectacular view here of Death Valley. And now it's difficult to see, but our car is right there. Way down there. So we're gonna have to head back down, and hopefully it won't take us that long. So on the hike up here along the trail, there's a metal pipe, or maybe steel pipe. It's all rusted out, but I imagine it was there for water for the workers or the machinery or whatever needed it. But it goes the entire way, and sometimes they have like a little tiny cutout where it bends. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but I'm sure it was done for a reason, because at every kind of intervals the pipe is kind of splayed out like that.
One of the neat features of the hike is just the rocks and everything. They definitely have like a shimmer and a sheen to them. I'm not a mineralogist. This could be the ore. I honestly don't know, but it is pretty fascinating as you walk. Everything just kind of glistens and sparkles, and you know, I wonder at nighttime what it looks like, if there's any reflectivity that it might have.
So we're on our way down. We found a spur trail that we're gonna take. Looks like there's some structure over here, and then we're gonna take a look to see if there's anything beyond that, but just a short little spur trail. So the first structure that we came to, it looked probably like it's gonna be their porta-john or their outhouse or their toilet. For that, it looked like it used to be kind of a structure with a bench, and then there's just a big hole underneath it. So that's probably where people went to the bathroom. But we're going to continue on the path. So we're off to the next structure here. It's going to be a little bit bigger. For that, there's a lot of lumber on the ground, so we'll take a look and see what we got. So we've come to the second structure here. I'm not sure what it was. There's a lot of wood processing center, maybe, I don't know. But if we continue on up here, it looks like we have a mine up here. So we're gonna go check that out. So here's another one of those structures that we saw at the very beginning. This one is more intact, and it definitely looks like it's a bathroom or a restroom or an outhouse for that. So this gives you a better idea what it looks like. So we're going to continue on and try to get to the mine opening, which is right down there. So we got to the mine opening. It looks like it's probably just like an exploratory mine. It only goes back probably 10-15 feet or so, and then it ends. So it's probably just somewhere to explore to see if where they wanted to dig it. This probably wasn't a good one, but it is blocked off with a gate, so we can't get in. But still interesting to take a look inside.
We have finished with the Keane Wonder Mine. We ended up doing about 1.8 miles. Most of it was the uphill part of the hike, just trying to see what we could find up to the actual mine. We didn't make it up there, and then on the way back down we kind of just took a few exploratory trails and just kind of putzed around and saw what we could. Fun to get out here. Definitely had the breeze with us, which made it a lot more pleasant during the steeper parts, but I enjoyed it, so would recommend it if you've got the all-wheel drive or the off-road clearance to be able to take the dirt road out here and give it a shot. We are now headed back to our campsite to just relax for the rest of the afternoon. It's about 3:30, so we've got about another hour of sunlight, depending on how long this path takes, and the drive back to the campsite. We may have a little bit of a window to enjoy before the sun sets. I just ran into the Stovepipe Ranger Station that we have here and got our park sticker and then our park patch. What was neat about this one, I didn't realize until I got outside, is it actually comes with a postcard. So you have the patch and a postcard if we wanted to mail anything. But all set for Death Valley.
It's about 6:15 right now. We're gonna go ahead and get the fire started, and once we get the fire started, Kelly's gonna cook us some pasta dinner. So here we go.
pasta, but unfortunately the pasta got a little bit chopped up when I was mixing it, so it's more like pasta pieces with some spaghetti sauce. It's like an Italian sausage spaghetti sauce. So a good, nice, warm meal after a lot of hiking today. Here comes the fox. There's a fox behind you. Look. So we have wrapped up dinner. Still have the dishes to do in a little bit, but for now we're just going to sit here and enjoy the fire for the rest of the evening.
There's a fox again.